Hey everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be blasting through Lonely Boy by the Black Keys. This one's an absolute must for your band set list. It's a really nice and easy one and a great way to open a gig, and it sounds absolutely killer. Anyway, I've got a massive thank you to my Patreon community. They voted for this lesson, so if you like the video and want to get involved in the channel and vote on my next lesson, you can click the link below to my Patreon page. And with that in mind, let's get straight into it. So before we begin, let me just run you through the sound. Today I'm going to be using my American Strat. This is a 2011 model, Olympic white with maple neck, and I'm going to be using my usual combination of overdrive to go with it, which is going to be a DoD looking glass combined with an exotic super sweet. I've got the overdrive set to about 12 o'clock on the high gain setting, and I've boosted the bass and treble to about 3 o'clock on both. Hopefully that should give you some rough idea of what you want to do with your own overdrive pedals. Anyway, the interesting pedal we're going to throw into the mix today is going to be the whammy 5 pedal, and that's going to help us drop the octave down in that introduction riff, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But I've just got it set on the 1 octave setting, so when I put my foot on it, it just goes down that 1 octave and then back up again. Other than that, I'm just using a bit of reverb from the amp. Alright then, we're going to jump straight in with the introduction riff to Lonely Boy by the Black Keys. Now, I appreciate not all of you are going to have the whammy 5 pedal, and we're going to talk about some other options with that one as well. The main riff is simply just going to sound like this. And we're going to start off by playing the open E string 4 times, and I'm going to use my left hand to mute most of the strings here apart from the open E, just so I can attack the fretboard a bit more. I quite like to play this as all downstrokes. You're more than welcome to do it as alternate picking as well, but that's just my personal preference. So like I said, we're going to play it 4 times. We are then going to use our middle finger to play the 3rd of the E. We're also going to bend that slightly, and then we're going to play the open E string twice, then briefly pause and then play it 3 times. And so together that makes a rhythm which is like this. And I'll just do that again. At this point, I'm going to engage the whammy 5 pedal and drop everything down an octave. And I'm going to play it once, then let it ring out and play it a couple more times. And then bring it back up as we start the next round through the riff. So we've got something like this, very slowly. Now, if you don't have the whammy 5 pedal, you could use a tremolo arm as an alternative option, and you can just dive bomb the note there. That's quite a good idea. I've seen other YouTube channels do that, so definitely check some of those out. And then the other option, if you haven't got a tremolo arm and you haven't got the whammy 5 pedal, then I would say probably a great idea for you would be just to slide up to maybe the 7th of the A there and play the open E and 7th of the A together, so you had something a bit like this. Instead of that, you could do an E5 chord. You could have something like this. It's entirely up to you, but there's a couple of ideas. I appreciate it's a lot of money to spend for one part if you want to buy the pedal. Anyway, let's move on then and have a look at the next part of the introduction riff. It should just sound like this. I've seen some people fingerpick some of this and play multiple notes at the same time, but I really think that's a bit overkill. Let's keep it simple and keep it rock and roll. We're going to start off the open E string and then play the 5th of the B immediately afterwards twice. We're then going to play the 5th of the B a third time, going to the 3rd. We're then going to play the 2nd of the G, then open, and then 2nd of the G. We're then going to play the open A string, letting that one ring out if we can, no worries if not. We're then going to play the 2nd of the G twice. Then we're going to play the 2nd of the G a third time, open. Then we're going to go to the 2nd of the D, open, 2nd. So together that's all together. And from here we're going to move into the verse. As we move into the verse, we've got this really rocking riff on an E major chord, and we're not necessarily going to be playing all of the notes here. We're going to be focusing on the low strings and the high strings, and it's just going to go like this. We're going to start by playing the sort of low strings, sort of E, A string and D string, or just the open E and 2nd of the A. And then we're going to focus on playing the high E string and high B string. So we've got this kind of back and forth rhythm. We're then going to finish that off by playing the open A string and the 3rd of the E. And together they make this. When the lyrics come in then, we're going to progress this. We're now going to shift the rhythm into this new chord, and this is going to be a shorthand version of a G major bar chord. We've got the 5th of the A, 4th of the G, and then we've got the 3rd of the B and E. And again, we've got this sort of back and forth rhythm. We're going to start off the low bass note first, which is the 5th of the D. And then we're going to do the higher strings, either the B and E string or the B, E and G string, up to you for that one, and we're going to do that twice. We're then going to slide up and do the same shape now at the 7th fret, and this is going to be an A major, and we're going to do something slightly different. This time we're going to play the 7th of the A twice, then we'll do the 5th of the E, 5th of the B, and then 6th of the G. Then we'll slide down and start it again. So the verse rhythm with the lyrics is going to sound like this. As we move into the chorus, the song's really going to open up and we're going to go all out of our strumming. It's going to be all downstrokes here, and that's going to be over an E major, then to a G bar chord as I prefer to do it, and then an A major bar chord. You can do it as open chords as well. I just think the bar chord gives it a little bit more power. Up to you on that one. It just goes like this. On the third time round, I quite like to do the E, and halfway through it, move it all the way up to the 13th and 14th frets, before going back to the G and A, and then doing it as we did before for the 4th time round, and that would just sound like this. As we finish chorus number 1 and move into verse number 2, there's going to be a slight variation on the E riff before the lyrics come in, and that just sounds like this. The first time round, everything's going to be the same. But then the second and third times there's going to be a variation. For the second time through the riff, it sounds like this. And for that we are going to start off the low strings, moving over to the high strings 3 times. Then we're going to play the low strings a fourth time, and then very quickly afterwards play the open A, hammering onto the second fret, open D, third of the low E, and open E. And I'll just do that again. We'll then move into the third variation, which sounds like this. And it's going to be the same rhythm here. We'll do the low strings and then high strings 3 times. Then we'll do the low strings a fourth time. And this time we're then going to immediately play the open D, hammering onto the second fret. Then open D, second of the A, open, then open E. Once again, all together it sounds like this. So that concludes my lesson on Lonely Boy by the Black Keys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to leave you now with the full cover.